you pinch yourself every now and again when you're in big stadiums and playing against big players. But I think the last time I was really starstruck was my first start in the Premier League, which was against Manchester United, and just that moment where everything you've worked for, and you look across the tunnel and you're looking at sort of Rooney and Ferdinand and Vidic, and it's like, geez, here we go. Yeah, there was a couple running around my mind in this one, but it can only be one player, and that's Wilf Zaha. Just because that's his game, isn't it? I mean, you guys see him on an 11-a-side pitch, and he's tearing it up, isn't he? He looks brilliant, but you get him in close quarters and it's even more difficult. And I know he spent his youth playing at 5-a-side pitches in Croydon, so that's where he came from. That's a long time ago. You know what, I can't remember, but off the top of my head, I obviously got a car because I had a little bit of a drive into training to Carlisle. It was then Anthony Knockaert. Just because he's full on, just bouncing off the walls, and you'd never get any sleep with him. I can just imagine he's up all night. Graphics are a bit ropey, aren't they? Yeah, it's all right. I think, and I was only young and I was a little bit scrawny, to be honest. Well, before I became a footballer, I was a plasterer's labourer, so the next step from that is to train as a plasterer. So I'd probably had a life of skimming walls and doing houses out. The worst part of it, I was working for my dad, so I got the double barrel. If there was any lumps in the plaster, I'd know about it. You have to think carefully about the big decisions you make, sort of joining clubs and where to move and things like that. But probably more little things, regret of snatching at chances and things like that when maybe you should have scored. So just little ones, no major ones. When I was in the Carlisle team, we made quite a big coup of a signing at the time, and that was Michael Bridges. Michael was someone that I'd watched as I was growing up, and obviously he was in that amazing Leeds side that got to the semi-final of the Champions League and things, and he was somebody that I looked up to and learnt a lot from.
I had you down as the second slowest player on FIFA in the Championship.
Do you know what? I'm not happy about that. It's a liberty. So I've looked at that. That's done my head in for like the last 2-3 years. But yeah, never mind. It's just the way it all goes, isn't it? Probably not applying myself earlier on in my career, floating along a little bit, sort of 25, 26, just not realising the opportunity that I had and everything in my grasp, sort of the training grounds and the gym and all the people that are at the football club to help you progress as a player. Sort of, I never took the chance to use all those things until I was a little bit older, and then, yeah, I don't know why, but the penny dropped and I started putting a lot more time into my career and a lot more effort into it, into my body, into myself, and achieved better things after that. It'd have to be De Bruyne, would it not?
De Bruyne is a good one. Why so?
Do I have to answer that question? Tampon. He's one of those guys, great guy off the field, but when there's a 50-50 or even a 60-30 in my favour, I'm letting him have it. This is a difficult one, but one that stands out for me over the years was Ryan Shawcross. Really, really tough opponent. I was going toe-to-toe with him sort of in a strength aspect, and he always made sure you knew he was there. I think you've got to respect what he did at Stoke. He made it to Europe, and they played in the Premier League for a long time. And yeah, I mean, personally, I think he was a really good centre-half. There was a computer back in the day called the Mega Drive. And I think it was probably that. You had to sort of put the cartridge in the top of the computer and like slam it in. The graphics were a bit ropey, but it was a good game. I think everyone doubts themselves at certain points, whether that's during the game, whether that's leading up to a game, or whether that's sort of in reflection of a game when you're at home and you could have done something better. I think as you get older, your age gets mentioned a lot, and that causes you to doubt yourself a little bit. Maybe when you don't quite make a sort of a ball into the box or something, you think, could I have made that as a younger man? But when you sit back and you think about it, it's probably it just wasn't a great ball. Don't really keep in touch with managers, to be honest. Don't keep in touch with a lot of people in football. It's a strange one because we're just like a big family, really. You don't speak to someone for 8-9 years, and then you'll see them on holiday or you bump into them somewhere, and it's like you were sharing a dressing room yesterday with them. My call for advice, yeah, probably my current manager, who I've spent a lot of time under, is Chris. I'd always call Chris for advice. He's very astute, and he'll give you a very sensible view, so you can always trust Chris for an honest opinion. I'd have to go back to Gaetan Bong. I think Bong is quite cool and he pulls his fashion off well, but I don't think I'd look well in it. I suppose someone who's just going to work hard no matter their ability, so you can always rely on them to try their best alongside you, and if they're doing that, then you can't ask any questions. Well, it's been a while since I got an achievement. Probably a big achievement for me that wasn't too long ago was my 100th goal for Brighton Hove Albion. Sort of leading up to that, it seemed to take an age to get there, and to finally hit that 100 and achieve that was a nice moment to get 100 goals for the club. I got a goal against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I believe it is still the oldest combined goal in the Premier League. Bruno Salto set me up and I scored. I think we took it off someone like Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes, so that was a good